My name is Mark Christensen. I am going to be your military general in the trenches. I'm going to be in the sales rooms with you every single day, getting muddy and bloody with you on the phones. So, in order to lead the charge and have you guys a little bit excited and have a little bit of faith and confidence in me, I want to give you a little bit of background, a little bit of my story, so you know who you're going to be working with day in and day out. Was raised on the West Coast. We live in Dallas now. That's the headquarters of Legion. We're founded here. But coming from the West Coast, I grew up in a small town in Idaho. Went to college to go be a physical therapist. Got my bachelor's degree in kind of a pre-med exercise science degree, and decided before I wanted to go into grad school that I would take off a few months or even a year to kind of build up a bank account and just take a break from the library, get away from school. So as I did that, I was asking people, what kind of jobs are out there? Where can I make the most money possible without killing people or selling drugs? And everybody kept saying sales, 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 sales. I had never touched sales. I had never done anything with business. I had never tried to convince anyone to buy a certain thing in my life. Nothing to do with that. But that's what people said, and I knew how to work hard. And so I said, all right, let's get into it. Let's figure it out. I fly to Atlanta, Georgia. I have $20 in my checking account. I have $30 in my savings account. I'm a new college graduate with a degree that's basically useless by itself. And I'm handed an iPad, and they say, this is commission only. If you don't sell this week, you're not gonna have money to buy groceries next week. And I'm 25, I'm prideful. I'm not gonna call mom for a Venmo to say, can you give me grocery money? So pretty much it was sink or swim. Boats were burned, and I was like, I'm either gonna learn how to sell this week or I'm not gonna eat next week, so let's get it. And that started the next 4 months of the most locked in period of my life, where I slept, ate, drank, farted, and showered with sales on in my headphones all the times. It was nothing but sales training podcasts, videos on YouTube. It was motivational, hype videos, and everything to do with just mindset and sales for 4 months straight. What happened at the end of that 4 months is I made $70,000, and I looked back on Google and I typed in how much does a physical therapist make after they go through more debt, going to grad school, go through all this extra year of curriculums and sales. As that happened, I realized that physical therapists make like 80,000. So I'm like, wait a second, I just did this for 4 months. I don't even know what I'm doing, and I made 70. If I can do this like year round and actually get good at it, I'll blow what a physical therapist would make out of the water, and I can travel. I can work on my own time. I can choose to put in a 100-hour week if I want to, or if I need to take a little time off to help grandma at the hospital, I can do that too. This is the way better life for me. So I dropped school, walked away from it, decided to go all in on sales. The next year, I brought out a team of 25 reps. I ran the exact same sales program that I had run the year before, sold the exact amount, but I made double the money. And that quickly flipped a switch in my brain to say, wait a second, sales by itself is kind of fun. Seeing the checks come in is kind of fun. It's nice to not have to check your bank account when you go out to dinner with some friends. But the real explosion and the real growth and the real opportunity in sales is in building organizations. So for the next 2-3 years, I ran alarm teams across 12 different states all over the southern belt of the US. As I did that, I got into a relationship, was engaged for 8 days. That's got to be a record. The engagement ends. I was doing decent in sales at this point, but I wasn't like breaking any records or anything like that. It was good, but it wasn't like, wow. Slept in a closet for 2 weeks, put my twin size mattress in a closet, put a towel under the door so no light would come in. And I just didn't want to even hear anything, say anything, talk to anybody, like nothing. I just wanted to like be away from the world. I slept in this closet for 2 weeks, pitch black. I would wake up to piss and eat a little bit of food and go back to the closet. After 2 weeks, I'm like, I'm either gonna die in this closet or I'm gonna get out and I'm gonna change my life, and like things are gonna be insane from here. So I get out of the closet, I go hire a Tony Robbins life coach, I hire a private boxing coach, I get my skydiving certification, I start skydiving every weekend, and I literally, I thought I was locked in for those 4 months the first time I started. When I'm talking about locked in, I'm telling you, I would leave the house at like 9 a.m. and I would get home at 11 p.m. I'd have a couple Cliff Bars in my pockets, and I would just be knocking doors and selling all day long. And when I was asleep, like laying down to sleep, all I did was visualize the neighborhood I was going to be knocking, and I was visualizing every house having an alarm security sign in front of it that I was gonna go plant there tomorrow after I sold them. I was completely locked into this thing. What happened then was I started thinking, and I started thinking like, okay, well, let me look at the industry that I'm in. Alarms were sold for like $50 to $70 a month at that time. Across the country, every company, that was the standard rate. If you're buying an alarm system, you pay 50 to 70 bucks a month. And I thought to myself, well, I'm already on this journey of self-improvement. Why is that the barrier that everybody sells at? Why is that, like, who set that price? Nobody. Okay, well, what if I push that boundary then? What if I sell all of my alarms for the next month? I upsell and I sell all of them at 140 bucks a month or more. What if? Like, no one does that. All right, well, let's see what would happen if I did that. So for the next month, I sold every single piece. By the end of the month, my average alarm cost per month was $138. So I basically hit the 140. What happened then was the entire company I was working for, multi-billion-dollar company with over 13,000 employees across the country, started freaking out. They're like, what is going on with this guy? How is he, did he get some special neighborhood? Did he have some special script? Like, what's happening here? Is he robbing and scamming and frauding these customers? They audited all my accounts to make sure I wasn't BSing and like, promising old ladies things and paying them under the table. Everything was clean. Now they're flying me across the country. They want me to do podcasts. They're asking me how I did this, why I did that. All of a sudden, the entire alarm industry for the entire United States is flipped on its head, because now there's one company that can convince its customers to pay double the amount that everybody else is. So what do they start doing? Now, all these other companies are forced to rewrite their entire financial models, start going and getting loans for their alarm systems instead of doing cash up front like they've been doing for over 80 years. It completely flipped the industry, and it's still like that today. As this is happening, I'm on this huge coaster of self-improvement and of crushing the alarm world, and all of a sudden, the solar opportunity comes out. A lot of you have heard of solar. Solar opportunity starts booming. This is back in 2020. As solar is absolutely booming, what happens is I get some offers to move down to Texas. I was living, like I said, in the West Coast at this point, and I moved down to Texas, and I start a solar organization, right? Within this company, we start crushing. The solar immediately starts taking off. I start same thing, start thinking outside of the box a little bit. How are other teams doing it? How can we do it better? Won't give you all the sauce on what we did, but the bottom line is we start absolutely crushing it. The second year I'm in solar, we go to South Carolina, and at the time, it was the trash heap of all of solar. It is not the place you wanted to sell solar. If you were going to sell solar anywhere, that was like the 49th out of the 50 states of where you wanted to go. You did not want to sell there. That's where we went. As we go there, we're selling, and everything's as normal. We recruit a couple guys, brand new guys, like 6 or 7 of them, and we're selling. Every year, this company that has, like I said, over 13,000 employees across the entire country has a competition. They have multiple, but this is the main competition. I was so locked into the sales, I didn't even know the competition was going on. Here's how it goes. For 3 days, it's you and one other closer somewhere else in the country. They put you in a bracket, and it's head-to-head. What happens is the guy that sells the most the most amount of solar deals in those 3 days moves on and is continuing in the bracket. The loser is kicked out of the tournament. There's no second place, no loser's bracket. You either move on or you're eliminated. Single elimination. The next 3 days, so it's Monday through Wednesday, then Thursday through Saturday, and you sell head-to-head with somebody else for 3 days every single week for like 3 whole months. It goes through the entire list of all the employees in the country, thousands of them. And you're head-to-head with somebody else every single day for like 3 months. Unless you lose, then you're out, right? I didn't even know this competition existed until I was in the quarterfinals of the competition. I'd been beating everybody in the whole company. I did not know that it was even a thing, because I didn't even pay attention to the company calls. I just wanted to sell and make money. All of a sudden, my senior regional calls me and he's like, hey, just wanted to let you know, you're in the quarterfinals right now, and if you keep it up, not only will you be in the finals, but the guy that's in second place, that's like close to coming where you are, is the co-manager on your team. There's a chance that you guys actually might be number 1 and 2 in the country, and you're like on the same team in some podunk town in South Carolina that's supposed to suck for solar, by the way, and you're with a team of like 7 rookies. We don't know what you're doing, keep doing it. And we looked at each other like, this is not only badass, like this is sick, but we don't even want to tell our setters and our people that are working with us and for us that this is what's happening right now. We don't want them to change anything, because what got us here was just our normal daily inputs, the stuff we were already doing anyway, so let's just not even mention it to the team. We go on, we win number 1 and number 2. I won first, my co-manager won second place. So we take over the entire tournament, we win the whole competition, the whole company's freaking out. Now they're sending us all these packages, again, flying out for podcasts. They want us on stage, speaking to the entire company, all this stuff. The thing that I'm most proud of in this competition is not the fact that I won the sales side of it. It's not the fact that my co-manager won second even, because he's also a great closer. It's the fact that the way that we won it was with 7 new employees that had never done sales before. They didn't know what the sales world even was. We were able to bring them on, train them to such a high level, and make success such a standard and a baseline expectation that they were by default and by accident selling at such a high level with us and for us that it caused us to take over the entire national competition. And we won the entire thing. They didn't even know until we had won it. That night, we got the certificate from corporate and we showed it to them. And we said, hey, you guys just kicked everyone's ass in the entire country. Happy birthday. Let's all go out to dinner and bowling or something like that. It was a funny thing. But my whole point in telling you this is, I can keep going into more competitions and more ways I've changed multiple sales industries, different things that I've done. I'm gonna stop sucking my own dick a little bit for now. The point I wanted to tell you is, as far as track record goes, when it goes to selling things like alarms, when it goes to selling things like solar, when it comes to building teams and training them and making success such a baseline expectation, there's things that you can do, as Tim was mentioning earlier, where it's commission now and you can build it into something a little bit for yourself and you can have a team for a little while, but then it kind of maybe crumbles and you add to it and it crumbles and you add. There's no other space like the life insurance space where you can build something that is going to last for the long haul, that you control and that you own and that's truly yours. And so what happened is when I started to leave the solar world, I said, okay, what is the next thing that I can do? Where can I go where we can create a culture of like-minded, absolutely hustlers and killers that don't accept second place? It's not even on the radar. We are going to win or we are going to die. Where is that place? And I started looking all over the insurance world. I looked all over the sales world, coaching sales, high-ticket sales. I looked all over. There was a lot of top dogs, a lot of savages, but there was no one that was do or die. No one where their final and actual motto could be confidently, winners sell here. There wasn't. So I said, well, then we have to build it. That's the only other option. And if we're going to do that, let's do it right here. Let's find like-minded people, people that have excelled in their industries, that have been to the top of their food chain. Let's get together as a squad and let's become undefeatable. And that's where we have Legion Financial Group today. This is the organization that you're joining. This is who you're finally stepping through the doors with. And for a lot of you, this is going to feel like finally coming home. Because for the first time in your life, you're going to be surrounded by people that you can actually look up to, people that have actual proven receipts and track records, that have done what you can do, that come from little tiny towns, that have gone through crazy little backgrounds, that have done nothing impressive with their early parts of their lives, but at some point decided to lock the fuck in and change their entire trajectory of their future. And this is the place for that. Welcome to Legion Financial Group. Let's kick some ass.
Well done. Real quick, let's wrap this.